Hello Internet, Taliesin here. Welcome to a weekly reset special report. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh goody, a special report. We only get those when something really good has happened. Maybe some new WoW news, which is so exciting that T&E couldn't wait to tell us about it, and hence the special report. Because they are so excited and happy about the really good news. And I am glad to confirm to you that yes, you are right. It is incredibly good news that is going to get you feeling very good about your favorite video game and all of the new reveals surrounding it. In fact, I would go as far as to say that by the time you are finished watching this video, you won't just be happy to play World of Warcraft and give your money to Activision Blizzard, you will be proud to, because no, it was a shit show, obviously. Yesterday, the Wall Street Journal published an article by Kirsten Grind, Ben Fritz, and Sarah E. Needleman, which allege that Bobby Kotick, the CEO of Activision Blizzard King, knew about sexual harassment allegations within the company that he had previously said that he didn't, that he personally intervened to save the jobs of at least one of those men, that he once made a death threat to a former assistant, and that is just the sadly predictable stuff. The guessable shit cherry on this manure pie. The stuff that you could have safely assumed the billionaire CEO of the world's second richest video games company would get up to, right? And you're right, obviously, because we all live in a dystopian hellscape. But believe me when I say that this one, oh man, it really goes places. Like, if the details in this article are true, and honestly, I'm personally of the opinion that Activision have kind of moved past their benefit of the doubt stage at this point, then Internet, I'm about to tell you some stuff which can absolutely be described as batshit crazy. And furthermore, this is all we're going to be talking about in this show, because if there is a weekly reset on the weekend, honestly, I don't want to detract even further from the innocent WoW devs on the ground just trying to get on with their lives and make a video game that they like. And also, because I know some of you absolutely hate it when I talk about this stuff, so if that's you, you can just skip this vid and we will see you later. But for the rest of you, oh man, buckle up my friends. Maybe keep a strong drink to hand and join us as we take a trip inside the sordid, deranged, allegedly quite illegal world of Bobby Kotick. It's important to point out that the Wall Street Journal article doesn't provide any physical evidence of these allegations. All the information provided in the piece comes from internal, unnamed sources. So the use of the term allegedly will feature very strongly in this video. And it probably also shouldn't go unremarked upon that I am, obviously, a pretty privileged cis-het white male, and as such, my voice on the subjects this article covers probably isn't the most important or meaningful one. So I just want to clarify that for what it's worth, this script is a collaborative effort between myself and Evitel. I might be saying the words because I'm the one with a really quite splendid jacket, but we both wrote them. As you know, Activision Blizzard King and especially Blizzard Entertainment were rocked a few months ago when the State of California Department of Fair Employment and Housing sued the company over multiple allegations of harassment and discrimination, as well as a 2-year investigation by the Equal Employment Opportunities Commission, which said that employees had endured sexual harassment that was severe or pervasive to alter the conditions of employment. You remember, basically all that stuff about Afrasiabi being an absolute monster and being protected by at least a decade's worth of higher-ups at Blizzard, which eventually saw the resignation of J. Allen Brack as company president, and the not-so-subtle removal of names and references of other ex-employees for some reason. Another 500 allegations of harassment and discrimination at Activision have been made in the wake of those initial allegations, and Blizzard staff in particular have been vocal and proactive in their activism and calls for change. Calls which just a couple of weeks ago appeared to have been partially answered when ABK moved to fulfill 3 of their 4 core demands, including the end of forced arbitration in cases of harassment and discrimination, which, don't forget, is a big deal, a hugely progressive step fought for and won by normal Blizzard employees, which genuinely should be celebrated as a seismic event in the California video games industry. And this is where we were just last week, and it felt good and like a corner had been turned. Devs on Team 2 who I spoke to felt proud and hopeful and even confident about the future. Activision Blizzard was giving them a whole week off paid for Thanksgiving. I know. Patch 9.15 had recently launched, 9.2 was announced, and I can only speak for myself, obviously, but suddenly, WoW didn't feel quite so icky to play again, and things felt okay for the first time in months. And then this f***ing shit. This barrage of fetid, sordid shit. Because whereas the previous allegations are specific to various studios and teams that come under the Activision Blizzard umbrella, this specific article concerns the man at the top, Bobby Kotick, a man who has, so far, managed to avoid any kind of real scrutiny or consequence due to the fact that he is really good at his job of making money for shareholders. You get the feeling that could be about to change. So first, some stuff from the article that you've probably heard before. In 2007, Bobby was sued by the flight attendant of a private jet he co-owned after she alleged she had been sexually harassed by the pilot, at which point Bobby fired her. That case was settled via arbitration, of course, for $200,000 a year later. Even earlier, in 2006, Bobby harassed one of his assistants, leaving her a voicemail where he said he would have her killed. Another matter settled out of court and admitted to by Bobby because he's so honest. These events were all done and dusted years ago. They might give you an idea of his character, but they aren't anything that's going to have any impact on his life anymore, sadly. He's not getting sacked for either of these disgusting, shitty things, but here's something that could be a problem. The article alleges that after sexual harassment claims were made against Dan Bunting of Activision's Triarch Studios in 2017, Human Resources launched an internal investigation that recommended that Bunting be fired, only for Bobby to personally intervene and keep Bunting in his role, which, by the way, was launching many successful Call of Duty games, one of Activision's most profitable series. But I'm sure the fact that Bunting made shareholders and therefore Bobby Kotick shit tons of dirty moolah had absolutely nothing to do with the decision, and anyone who suggests otherwise should definitely be sued, am I right? Anyway, instead of getting fired, Bunting got counselling, so, you know, that'll teach him. Dan Bunting, by the way, left Triarch, yesterday. Now, obviously, this is a pretty serious allegation. If Bobby really did step in to override HR's recommendations and keep Bunting in place, well, that's not very zero tolerance of you, is it, Bobby? That's not especially putting the victims first of you, is it, Bobby? That's not incredibly, I don't know nothing, it's all the other studios' fault, I'm just a freewheeling, hands-off, let the creators make their games kind of dude of you, is it, Bobby? And combined with the fact that Bobby also, apparently, kept the initial California case's details and settlements from investors, and you could actually be looking at some serious shit here. Slight detour, this is all quite a lot like a similar alleged incident at good old cuddly Blizzard Entertainment, where former technology chief Brian Kilgore was removed with Bobby's approval. Ah, nice one, Bobby, you absolute legend, mate. That is epic. After multiple allegations spanning several years, after which employees were told not to discuss the circumstances of Kilgore's departure, which is ew anyway, but even more ew when good old cuddly Mike Morhaime, then Blizzard CEO, sent out a company-wide email thanking this sexual harasser for his great work and years of service, which, okay, if that's true, then I'm really sorry, everyone, but Mike Morhaime. Okay, so far, so standard corporate boys club bullshit, right? But hold on, fam, because this is where shit is about to get wild. As we all know, when J. Allen Brack was made to step down as Blizzard president after a little under 2 years in the role, because he obviously had to go when the allegations came out, obviously no one's disputing that, even though, ironically, he was actually the leader that did finally get rid of Alex Afrasiabi after a decade of that getting moved around projects every time he metaphorically, and maybe not metaphorically, got his dick out. Something that lovely cuddly Mike Morhaime never got around to doing, which is a shame, isn't it? Because I would love to have read the glowing, love-filled email Mike would have written for Afrasiabi when he left, you know? Brack was replaced by co-leaders Mike Ybarra, one of us, and Jen Oneal, a genuinely hopeful appointment, because Ybarra is an absolute Mythic Plus Chad, and Jen Oneal has a proper, impressive CV of actual good work and genuine change in her 18 years at Activision. Being part of the teams of Destiny 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Spider-Man 2, and like a ton others, but more importantly, many initiatives to improve opportunities for minority employees and encourage diversity. So perfect to show the world that you are serious about enacting change. Having Mike in charge felt really cool. Having Jen there felt important. The first female leader of an Activision business unit. Young, energetic, and righteous, and hours at Blizzard being involved with WoW stuff. So when Jen stepped down just 3 months later, eyebrows were understandably raised, despite Jen putting out a public letter assuring everyone that I am doing this not without hope for Blizzard. Quite the opposite. I'm inspired by the passions of everyone here, working towards meaningful, lasting change with their whole hearts. So good, that's sorted then. Do you want to know what really happened? According to the Wall Street Journal article, after just 1 month in the job, Oneal sent an email to a member of Activision's legal team in which she professed a lack of faith in Activision's leadership to turn the culture around, saying it was clear that the company would never prioritize people the right way. And if it weren't bad enough that Activision turned an 18 years loyal employee with a passionate belief in her ability to enact change into a hopeless nihilist in 1 month of being in charge of Blizzard, if that weren't depressing enough, she also allegedly said in the email that she herself had been sexually harassed earlier in her career at Activision, which is absolutely the worst part of any of this, obviously, but also that as a homosexual Asian American, she had been tokenized, marginalized, and discriminated against, and also that she was paid less than her Blizzard co-leader, Mike Ybarra. And I mean, what the actual I am angry on so many levels here. I'm angry, most of all, because of what Oneal says she went through being harassed and discriminated against. I'm angry that someone who had worked her ass off for 18 years through that disgusting treatment to finally get to a position where she could enact real change and was told to enact real change and was there as a bright symbol of the coming change. How all the faith she had in the company that she had been loyal to for 18 years was completely wiped out in 1 month. And on top of all that, the sheer mind-bending stupidity of paying her less than Mike Ybarra. Like, how did Activision think they were going to get away with that? What kind of empty, idiotic, clueless, delusional shitbrain thinks, oh no, all the harassment shit is hitting the fan, we'll show our commitment to equality and change by installing a cool hip co-leadership of a man and a woman, and then we'll pay the woman less than the man. Well, I will tell you, internet, the melted moldy banana brain of Bobby Kotick, that's who, and forget how evil this piece of shit definitely is for a second, okay? And think about, even just from a cynical, self-serving angle, how stupid you have to be to do this. Based on this evidence, I wouldn't trust Bobby Kotick to open a can of beans, let alone run the world's second richest video game company. Based on this evidence, I wouldn't trust Bobby Kotick alone with a colouring book, because I couldn't be certain he wouldn't eat the crayons, or worse, threaten to kill them. If this was an episode of Succession, you would not believe it. You'd be like, no one could possibly be this stupid. But Bobby Kotick, my friends, is this stupid. This man earns $150 million a year. How is this man in charge of anything? So sorry, yeah, just to clarify, allegedly, Oneal was paid less than her fellow co-leader, Mike Ybarra. Mike Ybarra, who has been at the company since 2019, was earning more for the same job title as his female counterpart, who had been at the company for 18 years. And who cares why, you know? Maybe their roles were a bit different. Maybe Mike got more because he's got a higher Mythic Plus rating because he's such a Chad. Maybe Mike got more because, you know, women traditionally choose lower paying careers, like being the female co-leader of Blizzard, while men traditionally choose higher paying careers, like being the male co-leader of Blizzard. Whatever the reason, how was this allowed to happen? Jesus Christ. And look, I know I rag on Mike Ybarra a little bit on this channel, and I accept that's probably a bit unfair. To be honest, it's more the initial uncritical reaction to him from the community, seemingly based on his high-level WoW play that I'm mocking. But I accept it does come across as a bit personal sometimes. Mike, you seem like a decent guy, and I'm sorry. I'm going to stop clowning on him now, I think. But seriously, though, why did they pay him more than Oneal? And why did they, allegedly, refuse Oneal's repeated requests for parity right up until she resigned, and then offer her equal pay? This is an absolute circus, except a circus where all the clowns might sexually harass you. So, yeah, a circus. And it makes you think, doesn't it? What about that letter that Jen Oneal sent when she stepped down? The one where she said it definitely wasn't because she had no faith in Activision's capacity to improve and change. If the article is true, that seems like a very odd letter for her to write, doesn't it? Well, Here's the thing, Internet. We can't actually rule out the possibility that she didn't write it. We can't actually rule out the possibility that Bobby Kotick wrote that letter. Yes, that's right. It's about to get even more insane, fam. Because do you remember that letter that Fran Townsend wrote to employees in the first days of the scandal? The one where she said torture was okay. Sorry, the one where she said there was no way the allegations were true because she wouldn't have joined a company where stuff like that happened, and the fact that she had joined the company was itself proof that those things didn't happen. You remember the letter that was instantly met with massive backlash, probably helped inspire the very formation of the Better ABK movement, and which Bobby Kotick himself condemned as tone deaf the very next day? Well, it turns out, according to the article, Bobby wrote that letter. Bobby wrote the "as a woman, I really care about all this woman stuff" letter, like he was Stephen Molyneux leaving comments on his own videos, and then publicly shat on Fran Townsend for her stupid letter the very next day. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude, but what kind of a sociopath do you have to be to do that? And can you imagine being Fran Townsend, being made to sign a letter that your boss has written for you just so he could turn around and dismantle you for it in public while angry staff members are holding banners calling for your resignation? She must have thought it was absolute torture and therefore actually okay. Yeah, don't feel too bad for Fran Townsend, you know. She still shared that "the problem with whistleblowing" article the next day, and also, I don't know if we can really mention this enough to be honest, she thinks it's okay to literally torture other human beings. But it makes me think, what other letters has Bobby written over the years? O'Neill's leaving speech seems pretty likely. The Zodiac Killer correspondence, definitely. But what else? This is obviously just an absolute mother of a shit show. And imagine, just for a moment, that you are a Blizzard employee. You've just turned a corner. Management have kneeled to some really important demands. You've got a new WoW patch announced, the season of Mastery starting up in Classic, a new Hearthstone expansion reveal. Things are looking up for the first time in ages. And then this. And then imagine you just learned all of this stupid, disgusting stuff, and then you open your emails and there's a video message from Bobby Kotick waiting for you. Because yes, he sent out a video message with like his face and talked about what an amazing place Activision is to work and a whole bunch of other stuff that I am not going to repeat. It's bullshit, obviously, and more than a little bit desperate. And honestly, it has a lot of people asking at this point, is this it for Bobby? Is this latest round of flying shit more than he can scrub off with all his money and power and importance to the shareholders? Is this latest dip in Activision share prices more than investors are willing to put up with, alongside all the sleaze and lies and insane letter writing? Is Kotick toast? The board has, of course, already publicly backed him, but the board's first reaction in situations is always denial. It's like the 5 stages of grief. They did the exact same when the harassment suit first became public as well, both with their official response and Bobby's letter. But importantly, Activision employees were still able to enact meaningful change eventually. And now, all sights are firmly set on Bobby Kotick. There was another Blizzard walkout yesterday when this news broke, and from where I'm sitting, for the first time since we've been covering WoW news on this channel, Bobby seems vulnerable. And by that, I don't mean he'll ever suffer or actually face any consequences. Obviously, that's not how this works. Best case scenario, Bobby is ousted, he walks away with a fat old payday, protections, and straight into another job for just as much money and power and prestige as before. And someone else takes his place and does the exact same parasitic bullshit job as him, but with hopefully a bit less death threats and protecting serial harassers. Which, if other video game companies are anything to go by, sounds like pretty wishful thinking, honestly. And that's the real problem here, isn't it? It would feel brilliant to see him flung out on his ass. It would feel like a victory. It would feel incredibly cathartic and symbolic. I would love it! But the real problem is that his job exists in the first place, because we continue to insist on believing in the investment shareholder model, which prioritizes a focus on short quarterly earnings calls at the expense of renewal, investment, workers, consumers, innovation, and just pure heart and soul. Something that is, unfortunately, quite important in making video games, I think. Bobby doesn't care if the next WoW expansion is good. He doesn't give a shit if Call of Duty is fun. He doesn't care if people are exploited or harassed any more than those things impact that quarterly figure, and any more than whoever takes his job will. That's far too depressing to think about, though. So yeah, fine, Bobby. Sorry, dude. Your days are numbered, fam, and I am not gonna miss you. Bye.